Hey guys, this is Shashant and welcome to VO Gaming and Event Technologies. And today I'm going to discuss on GIT. So let me share my screen first. I hope you guys see my screen. So today I'm going to discuss on GIT. So what is GIT? GIT is a version control system, and it is also referred as source code management tool and revision control system. So Git is also referred as version control system, that is VCS. So version control system is a way to keep a track of changes in the code so that if something goes wrong, we can make comparison in different code versions and revert it to any previous version that we want. సో ఇది ఏమంటుందంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఒక కోడ్ రాసాం అనుకోండి. సో ఆ కోడ్ మన కరెంట్ కోడ్ వర్క్ అవ్వట్లేదు. సో వీ క్యాన్ టేక్ ద ప్రీవియస్ కోడ్ అండ్ వీ క్యాన్ టేక్ దట్ రివర్ట్ బ్యాక్. సో ఆ కోడ్ ని మనం రివర్స్ తీసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ రిక్వైర్డ్ వేర్ మల్టిపుల్ డెవలపర్స్ ఆర్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ చేంజెస్ ద సోర్స్ కోడ్. సో ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి గిట్. సో మల్టిపుల్ డెవలపర్స్ వర్క్ చేస్తుంటారు ఒక మల్టిపుల్ కోడ్స్ మీద. సో కొన్నిసార్లు అది వర్క్ అవ్వచ్చు, కొన్నిసార్లు అది క్రాష్ అవ్వచ్చు. సో దట్ we need a backup code that is the previous one. So we can go back to the previous one and we can also use that code. So why version control system? So it is used to track versions of a file or a directory. సో ఇవి మన ఫైల్స్, మన డైరెక్టరీస్ ని ట్రాక్ చేస్తుంటది version control system. So Git only tracks text-based files like .html, .java, .jsp. So it won't track videos, images, audio files. It only tracks text-based files. So there are two types of VCS, that is version control system. One is centralized version control system and other one is distributed or decentralized version control system. ఇది టూ వేస్ లో మనం పిలవచ్చు, వెదర్ ఇట్ క్యాన్ బి డీసెంట్రలైజ్డ్ ఆర్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూట్. So first we are going to talk about VCS, that is CVCS, that is centralized version control system. So centralized version control system is CVCS uses a central server to store all files and enables team collaboration. CVCS works on a single repository to which users can directly access a central server. So I'll give you a brief on this because see, here you can see the diagram. So this is centralized version control system, and working copy is us, the one which are working on a code, and this is a central repository like a GitHub. This is a GitHub wherein we work on a code in a working copy. ఇక్కడ మనం వర్క్ చేసి ఇక్కడ నుంచి మనం పుష్ చేస్తాం మన కోడ్ ని సెంట్రల్ రిపాజిటరీకి. సో every team member, here you can see the team collaboration. Every team member works on a different code, source code, and they are going to push the code into central repository. So whenever they require that code, if this team member required my code, then then he is going to pull my code and he is going to make the changes in that code. So how they do the changes, I'll let you know in other video with practicals. Now just understand what is CVCS. So you can see the drawbacks of CVCS, that is it is not logically available. Not logically, sorry, locally available. Locally in the sense, so if suppose I am going to explain that locally in the next DVCS. Now just understand this, it is not available in locally. So CVCS crashes will result in losing of entire data of the project. సో సివిసిఎస్ క్రాషెస్ అంటే ఈ సెంట్రల్ రిపాజిటరీ ఏదైతుందో, సో మనం సోర్స్ కోడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత వన్స్ వి డన్ విత్ అవర్ కోడ్, వన్స్ వి డెవలప్ అవర్ code, so we push it to central repository. So what is the drawback over here? If central repository is lost, so everything is gone, even the project, complete project is gone. So nowadays companies are using DVCS. CVCS they are not using, because you know the drawbacks over here. Here clearly it explains that if there is a lot, if there is a loss of data, if someone does, if our central repository crash, every data has is lost. So keep it in mind, guys. And coming to DVCS. So nowadays the companies are using DVCS, that is distributed version control system. So in distributed version control system, every contributor has a local copy or clone of the main repository. So user can change and commit local repo without any interference. User can update that local repo from the central server. User can update the central server from the repo. So operations in DVCS are very fast. So right now, guys, I am just explaining theoretical part. In practical part, it is going to be very much clearly to you guys to understand that. So just go through these notes once. So you are going to get some clarity on this. And after that, when I jump into the practical thing, then you are going to get what is DVCS, what is CVCS, how it is going to be in local repository, how it goes to GitHub, and how you can push it, how you can pull the code from repository. You can check it in my next videos. As of now, I'm going to explain DVCS. So new changes can be done locally without manipulating the central data. So what that does mean, man? So if there is a code in a GitHub, so I will pull that code in my working area and I'll make that changes. So when I make the changes, the previous code will be available in that way only. It is not going to change. We are not going to manipulate that data. So if the central server get crashed any point of time, the losing data can be easily recovered from any one of the contributor local repositories. So here you can see there are no local repositories in between the central repository and the working copy. But in DVCS, we have a central repository, and in between we have a local repository and the working area. So in the local area, we are having our code. In our local area we have our code, and in the central GitHub, and also the working copy. So if I lost the data from my working space, I can take it from the other team member also. So you have to keep it in mind, guys. So whenever we lose our data from our system and our local repository is crashed, so we can take it from the other team member. So that is the very much beneficial of the distributed version control system. So I'm going to show you the Git flow. So guys, so Git flow, so till here to here, it is a local repo, that is Git. So when we come to remote, that is GitHub. So what we are going to do it in a local, we have a working directory. So wherein we can create a directory in this, and in that directory you have to create some files. So whenever you create some files, it won't go to staging area. It will be in here only. So there is a command we have to add, that is git add. That will go to, I mean, like whenever we create a code and if we keep it in a working directory, that is known as untracked files. So whenever we add, git add is a command. Whenever we add, it goes to the staging area, and in staging area it is going to get tracked. It is going to track all the files in this staging area. So in this staging area, again we have to move that file to local repository, that is git repository. So guys, keep it in mind, this is git and this is GitHub. It is a main repository, central repository, and it is a local repository. So we have to keep two things in mind, that git till local repo will track till here only, the local. And after that we have to push our code to main repository so that others can see our code and others can pull our code from main repository. So what is our job is to do in Git. So if I am a developer, I will create a code in working directory. I'll give a command git add, and I'll move it to staging area by this command. And after that, I'm going to commit my code. If I commit my code, it will go to local repository. If it go to local repository, so from there we can push our code to main repository, that is GitHub. So this is a Git flow. So guys, keep it in mind, there are two things. One is Git and other one is GitHub. Git is local repository till Git. And if you push our code to main repository, that is GitHub. So here is the command. And now I'm going to explain clearly. See, I'm going to create a code over here, and I'll give the command git add. I'll move it to the staging area. It moves to, it goes, if I give git add, it goes to the staging area. And after that, I want to push my code to the local repository. I'll give git commit, and then it goes to the local repository. And after that, if I want to move, if I want to push my code to GitHub, that is central repository, I will move it to central repository, that is GitHub. Here, remote repository, we can also call it as remote repository. Okay. So from here, you can give git push. Git push is a command to move our code to remote repository. Git pull is a command wherever so other team members are created few some of the codes. So if I want to make some changes in that code, the git command is a git pull is a command to push team members code in our working directory. I will make some changes over here. Again, I follow the same procedure. I will give git add, git commit, git push to central repository, that is GitHub. So thank you guys. Go through the video once again. Go through this theory part, and in the next video, I'm going to explain what is Git, what is GitHub, how to push our code to GitHub, how to pull, how to push, how to do git add, and I'm going to explain some of the command which is very helpful for you guys to crack the interview, or else gain some knowledge from this Git or GitHub. It will be beneficial for you, and it is one of the DevOps tool, guys. So from now onwards, I'm going to start DevOps tools to you guys to explain it and to get idea on what Git does. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.